SoapBox News is brought to you by the Small Business Surgeon Podcast and by Texas Media Foundry. Engineer your reality. So what we're doing here is experimenting with a new show, experimenting with co-hosts, and trying to put together a program that over the next 3 to 4 months, we knock the edges off, we learn how to produce, we learn how to script, we learn how to present. And so what I did was went and get one of the best actresses and models that I know of and ask her if she would like to be my co-host on this show, and she said a resounding yes. So welcome to the show, Nina.
Kaczorowski.
Welcome to the show, Nina. We need to shorten that. We should change Nina K. There we go. Whose name I can't pronounce. It's like, see, I could get like, where are you from? Is that Polish?
Yeah, I'm first one of my family born in America. My family came over from Poland back in the early 70s.
All these immigrants, man.
Right? Hey.
Coming here and creating jobs and shit. What is up with that?
Don't know. But I started modeling and acting been in the business about over 30 years.
Okay.
And now I'm excited to be working with SoapBox as the Director of Talent Acquisitions coming up, where I'll be contacting news companies, podcasters, journalists, and whatnot to come up on the show and be a guest.
Mm-hmm. And it's not so much about the show, it's about the platform. So the show is a way to introduce you guys and a way to get some media and some marketing behind a platform that we're producing that will allow censorship-free hosting for journalists, podcasters, legitimate broadcasters, and media companies to host content that they want to host. And they'll be able to build forums and build groups and host content and be completely uncensored and monetize that content to put more money back in the pockets of the content creators. So that's what we're up to. And basically, I think we've got several months between now and when the app is ready for beta testing, when we start to onboard folks onto the platform. We've got several months to work on this. So this is our first attempt at ever being on camera together. This is our first attempt at putting out a news program. And the only thing I know about news programs is they've got guys in suits and they've got reading from teleprompters. And you know what? Like, we're tired of that. So we now wear T-shirts and we read off our notepads, and we generally make it up as we go along, based around a framework of stuff. So what's on the list to talk about today, Nina? What have you got on your list?
Well,
we've got a list of headlines.
We do.
Okay,
so how about the guy that threw the Senate election into chaos from his basement?
All right, so we're going to dip in and out of the news cycle and bring you guys articles. And the first one, because it is just after Election Day, is some guy, Vice News. This guy just threw the Senate election into chaos from his basement. Tell us about this article, Nina.
He's an independent that just decided to run. I think he put up about $10,000 of his own money. About 81% of the votes, but ended up throwing the election between, Herschel and...
It was...
to a runoff coming up.
That was it,
That was the reason why they're in a runoff, is he caused a runoff. Cool. I mean, at the same time, I can't be mad at him. I mean, isn't that what everybody's trying to do? I mean...
So, the guy's name's Chase Oliver.
Right.
He's a 37-year-old libertarian, and he got 2% of Georgia's Senate vote. And that's awesome. So... he's forced Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock to go to a runoff by taking 2% of the vote from his basement. Mm-hmm. And fair play to him. I'm not a huge fan of the current two-party system.
No.
Are you?
No, not at all.
All right, so what do you think this guy is? You think he's a hero for 81,000 votes?
I mean, the thing is like, isn't this what a lot of us in our community are talking about, making that change? If we don't step up, if we don't make a change, if we don't take a chance, that, I mean, we're just going to continue to do what we're doing and leave it off to these two parties. I mean, yes, it does take away from certain parties when you vote independent, but I mean, we've got to start somewhere, don't we?
I think he's right. Yeah, I think he's absolutely right. I'd like to see people, and like I haven't looked at his platform. I don't know what his stances are. All right, so let's take a look at his social media picture here. He's got a gay flag, the rainbow flag, but it's got a "Don't Tread on Me" snake on top of it.
Yeah.
So
and he had a whole bunch of, from what I understand, like celebrity pictures, like autographs or something like that, along in the basement with that.
I don't know what his platform is, but it says right here in the article, Oliver, who said he's proud of being Georgia's first statewide LGBTQ candidate, now plans to get involved in the runoff as an activist. And good luck to him, I say. Now, I don't know what his policies are. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with his policies, but I am firmly behind the idea of if you don't like it and you want to change it, you go and do something. I mean, that's why we're here, isn't it?
Right.
Like, so yeah, I think this is really, really good idea. And if you've got issues that you care about that you want to get on the ballot, like nobody's coming to save us. Like everybody thinks they'll fix it, but who's they? There's no they. You get old enough, right? And then you end up smoking cigars with the guys that are actually in politics and doing business deals with the guys that are in politics and and you realize they're just the same as we are. They put their trousers on one leg at a time and they do whatever they're fucking told by the guys that are paying them to do it. And so that said, if you want to make a change, you can. They're the same as us. Like there is no difference between a politician and me fundamentally. We get dressed the same way, we got the same bits and pieces, we got the same responsibilities, we got the same dreams and nightmares and all that shit. Like if you want in politics, do what this guy did. He spent 10 grand. He took 81,000 votes and he forced the two-party system into a runoff. I think he did great. You like that?
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No.
All right. Well, we do want your comments. Right now, you can post them on the Facebook page, SoapBox News. Very, very shortly, you'll be able to post them on our website, soapboxnews.com. That is still being made. Bearing in mind that this is just episode number 2, so I did very well. I got a co-host, and she's way, way better looking than I am. So for those of you guys listening on the podcast, I'm sorry you don't get to see that. All right, Nina.
Yes.
What's the next topic?
Let's see.
Let's take a look here. What? Is that headline right?
I think so.
Okay.
It's Bloomberg.
Well, you want to read it? Like, that's how this works. Like, I pull up the headline, you read the headline.
The headline says, even central banks are buying gold for the zombie apocalypse.
There's a headline.
I didn't know gold kill zombies. I mean, I'm not really understanding the...
I mean, if you got enough of it and dropped it on one from a great height. Yeah, I don't know that. What fucking company runs a headline centered around the zombie apocalypse? Unless they're talking about like a metaphorical zombie apocalypse with a real estate crash and an employment crash and that. So it's probably a metaphorical zombie apocalypse.
But nowadays, who knows?
Well, you know, my brother-in-law's a funeral director, actually. And he says, as a special precaution, he ties the laces of the deceased, he ties their shoelaces together. So if they actually do wake up and become zombies, they'll fall down and trip over. This is
a joke, right?
No. No, my brother's wife, right, Nicola, her sister Katie is married to Fergus, and Fergus owns his own funeral company. Right?
I got that. I understand that part's right, but I'm talking about the shoelaces.
I mean, look, if I'm a funeral director, right, and if I'm prepping a corpse and I'm putting it in the ground, it's going in the coffin, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
It takes me like 2 minutes to tie its shoelaces together. Okay. Is that not like a seriously like good precaution against the zombie apocalypse?
I guess so. I mean,
for the sake of 2 minutes.
Why? Yeah.
All right, Jamie, get us a funeral director on the line. We'll check that. I don't actually have anybody called Jamie back there. I was just stealing from Joe Rogan. All right, governments in developing economies are building up their bullion holdings as trusts breaks down. There's no trust. The currency we currently use and trade all around the world, every currency in the world, I believe at this point is a fiat currency. There's no currencies that are backed by physical assets anymore. I believe. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but if there's maybe one or two, then yeah. But as far as I'm aware, there's no currencies that are asset backed. They're all fiat currencies now, which means that as inflation moves up, gold remains like a standard. So we try to trade off gold, and it may be what they're trying to do here is get as much gold back into treasuries as possible before tackling hyperinflation and maybe some common financial reset. I don't really know about that. Nina, what are your thoughts on the government's hoarding as much gold as possible right now?
I haven't really been too up on this right now, to be honest. But I mean, I know over the last few months there's been a big surge in that market, just from friends and stuff that are in that world talking about it. But,
so you've got some friends in the bullion world.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull up the whole article here. These sites keep making me turn off ad block. Create an account and unlock 3 bonus articles. Maybe we should create accounts on Bloomberg. I don't know. This seems to me to be foreshadowing. Once you've
it says you'll need it to buy bullets and
the instruction manuals for surviving a zombie apocalypse is pretty short. Why are they writing about a zombie apocalypse?
that's the first thing.
If there was an apocalypse, right, a zombie apocalypse, would you want to go out first and be like, fuck it, I'm out, I'm done, and just let them eat you? Or would you stay and fight and try and survive?
I'm not going down without a fight. You crazy?
I mean, I don't know. If there was a nuclear bomb go off, right, it might just be easier to go out in the nuclear bit rather than try and survive all the radiation and try and grow your own cabbages. I mean, that doesn't sound... I mean, as a Polish, that might be something that you like to do, but as a British fella, growing cabbages is kind of hard work.
Well, you guys did that, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up growing all our own stuff. I mean, but for me... Nah, I'd fight. I don't want to go out in the first wave. No. I'd make sure and tie all their shoes together. I think that's the best way around it.
I'll distract them and you tie their shoes. How about that?
All right. I think it's time we move topics because this one's run out a bit. But it is interesting that one of the next topics we've got coming up is the consumer price index and the inflation stuff. Is that, central banks buying gold is definitely a sign of a little bit of uncertainty and a little bit of a bumpy road coming. They're wanting to get into physical assets and physical gold rather than every other made up. You okay, mate? Rather than every other made up financial product that's backed by fiat. So I think we're in trouble with inflation. And we'll get to that here in a minute. In fact, you know what? Let's just go to it right now. Let's go to, before we go to inflation, I want to hit this story up first because it all ties into one. That's why we picked them. This is an article from Forbes, and it's in the entrepreneurs section of Forbes, and it says, "Dear Divided Congress, small businesses first." And being the small business surgeon, and the majority of my clients are small business owners, in fact, all of my clients are small business owners, this one really hit home. And one of the reasons that I put SoapBox together was because of how much pain that I saw in the small business community going through COVID, and the fact that we can't have successful small businesses unless we have dialogue around the issues that are affecting the small businesses. And that's why we've got this podcast. That's why we've got this platform, is to allow us to have that dialogue. So, Nina, would you do me a favor and read the first paragraph of that article, please?
All right. So, closely divided government, even with Republicans taking control of the House of Representatives, is set to continue. The new Congress will need issues that can both gain bipartisan support and stimulate the economy. Here's a suggestion: start with a small business.
Right. It's not untrue. It goes on to say that small businesses offer a way to support job creation and reinvigorate struggling communities, and they do. They do. As I cruise around my old work grounds in East Texas, I used to be a petroleum landman, and I went all around East Texas. And as I go back there now, and you look over the last 20 years of the amount of businesses that have closed down and the amount of the economy that's changed as bigger supermarkets have come in and shut down local small businesses, you really get to see just how much small business is the backbone of community. And I think that it's incredibly important that Congress and the government find ways to support small businesses.
Absolutely.
But I also think it's important that people who are successful in small business take their success and they give back as coaches and as mentors and help the next generation of kids coming up not make the same mistakes we did. Like, I've got millions of dollars worth of mistakes worth of knowledge tucked in the back of my head that led me to becoming a business consultant. And, you know, small businesses, like, they make up almost half of the country's workforce. And, you know, every year, like, the new businesses, those in business under 5 years, or fewer than 5 years, sorry, they're the ones responsible for most of the new job creation.
Right.
So it's very important that entrepreneurs are supported and educated. What experience do you have in this arena?
I mean, used to work, I've had a few small businesses over the years, and it's definitely, it's true. It's what you are. You're the community that you build. I love that, like having your regulars and build, the people around the community knowing you, buying your product. We had a salsa company back in the day with a friend, and it's great to, to just have that there.
That's one of the reasons I keep this business for now in downtown Bryan, is because of the community and the other small business owners. And, I've built, through the Small Business Surgeon podcast, I've built a group of over 1,800 local business owners that I can talk to and that I can interact with and network with and feel their pulses. And, they're all saying a lot of the same things. I know since the shutdown in 2020, I know a lot of small businesses got their dicks kicked in. But I also know on the backside of that, like, the guys that have weathered it, the guys that have come through this, they're more determined, they're more resilient, they're better businessmen, and they've taken on a lot more education and started to ask themselves, how can I get through this? So I think all the support that we as a locality, as a state, and as a country, all that support that we can give to small business owners, I think they're the real key to getting everything back on track, because they're the ones that are going to come into communities and say, you know what, I want to open a manufacturing facility here. I want to open a lumber yard here. I want to open a construction company here. I want to do this here. That's all the entrepreneurs that gets that going. So I think as much support as we can get on a government level, both local and regional and national, for entrepreneurs, I think it can only be a good thing. Like,
yeah.
Well, all right.
Isn't that what America was founded on? Basically, all small business, mom and pop shops back in the day.
Thought it was founded on alcohol, blue jeans, and hard work.
Well, that too, but I guess it kind of all goes together.
Slavery. Slavery gets shit done. How about that? Wait, was that politically incorrect? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Like, can we still own slaves? I don't think so. I don't think so, sir. All right, so... No,
Wait.
But slaves are okay if you're in Qatar and trying to host a World Cup on time. I do want to say that was a big no-no by Qatar, paying France over $14 billion to secure their votes for the FIFA World Cup. FIFA is incredibly corrupt and should be investigated. So on that note, let's move on to the next article. What it is. FIFA is the international governing body for soccer. And,
I know what it is, but I didn't know. I didn't know that. I don't know the history or all that about it.
Well, quick snippet for those that are interested. Over 6,000 construction workers have died in Qatar in the run-up to the World Cup.
What?
Yeah. That's like a whole lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so they're using slave labor they import from other countries, and then if they don't slave good enough, they just kill them. Yeah, try saying that out loud. Anyway, moving on. I will not be watching the World Cup. I will be cheering for England from a very, very, very long distance away, but no, I won't watch it. Same as I won't buy any Nike products either. Won't do it. You're going to use slave labor? I'm out, right? Slavery's funny to joke about, but it's not actually funny. Like, and I urge you to vote with your wallets. You know, if there's shit going on that you don't like, stop buying that stuff.
Yeah.
Stop consuming the content. Stop watching the World Cup. Stop buying Nike products. You know, go find some shit that's made in America. Like, go find some stuff that's made in your country by your citizen. All right, enough. Like, for real. Stop buying shit that's produced in China by slaves. How about that? Okay. Next article. Are we good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, I think it's time for a commercial break. Sorry, Tex. I keep forgetting I can't clap, so I think it's time for a commercial break. I want to throw a huge shout out to my buddy David Levine over at College Station Mercedes, who has been a avid supporter of most of my endeavors over the past few years. He's a great lad. He's done really, really good work over there. And last year, he invited us out to shoot a commercial for them. So we're going to roll a really quick commercial for our friends at College Station Mercedes. And also, I want to say that we made this. So if you like this commercial, if you know of anybody that needs a commercial like this, how I pay for producing SoapBox is by making this kind of stuff for clients using my business, the Texas Media Foundry. So watch this commercial. If you like it, give me a call and we can get you hooked up. We'll be right back. We're back. I really like the shots in that commercial where we're like chasing the car.
Yeah.
And there's the car going down. Like, so when we shot that, like there's one car in front, there's the drone following behind, and then there's literally one of my guys, Nolan, he was in the trunk of the car, hanging out the trunk.
In the trunk of the car?
In the trunk. We had a car in front.
Another car.
And a car, yeah. So it was immense amounts of fun shooting those kind of commercials, and again, that is how I'm managing to pay for SoapBox and to pay for all this content that we're producing, is by actually getting work for my media team and for my consulting business. So yeah, if that resonated with you, great, and if not, well, I know a really great optician where you can get your eyes checked. All right, what is the next article, please, Miss Nina?
Looks like, let's see, the latest inflation numbers come out tomorrow, and it's expected to remain high.
High. Yes. It's like, dear inflation, please don't be high. And then it cuts to a picture of Snoop Dogg hanging out with Willie Nelson, because that is how high inflation is right now. Now, this is a headline from...
Yeah, that's what's happening.
So the CPI actually dropped this morning. And jumping over from that headline to CNBC, would you read that for me, please?
Say, October CPI expected to show inflation still ran hot, even as some goods prices cooled. Okay,
so, you know, the way the press is reporting this is as a victory for the government, and it's really not. It's cooled slightly. So September's 8.2% inflation rate has now cooled to 7.9% inflation rate, which is still ridiculously high. So congratulations.
Yay.
However, what that has done today, I'm going to pull up my phone real quick because it's about 11:15 and we're recording this. what that's done today, let's look here. It has sent the stock market up almost 1,000 points. It may be higher, maybe lower by 9 o'clock tonight, rolls around. The stock market's up almost 1,000 points. Netflix, big winner, up 6%. Amazon up 12%. Meta up 7%. I mean, let's not get too excited about that. Meta's probably going away. Nvidia, big card maker, up 10%. Lowe's home improvement has gone up 8%. So the entire market, I've even got some natural gas companies up here, up a couple of percentage points too. The entire market is breathing easy today because of that inflation. But what's really going on with inflation? How much is groceries now compared to last year?
Oh my God!
Because you're in. Not many people know this, but Nina's got a word of mouth business, and she's in a production side for craft services. So she buys a lot, and I do mean a lot, of grocery type items, right?
I do for craft service for productions on commercials and shows.
All right, so that's how we met. That's how I know her. But tell us a little bit about what you're seeing with the pricing in the marketplace.
Oh, everything's gone up, and if it hasn't gone up, you might not be able to find the product that you've been buying for years and years and years, or it's on back order. I mean, I know at Trader Joe's there's been some products over the years, like my boys and I would buy all the time from
Trader Joe's. That sounds like first world problems. Like, tell me the prices at Aldi, where everybody normal shops.
Well, no, Aldi. I love Aldi. Aldi's great. Actually, Aldi was doing a thing, I think, right now, where they're dropping everything back to 2019 prices.
Now we're talking about it. Now they're getting advertised on our show.
Yeah, hey. But I haven't gone over there, though.
That represents a huge amount of money for Aldi.
Yeah.
But they're doing Thanksgiving stuff.
Oh, that's right. It's Thanksgiving stuff.
They've
back to 2019.
Rolled back, and it's about 20%.
Yeah, that's exactly.
The problem you get is, like, with inflation, it's like a tornado. It just keeps going up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and becoming a bigger problem. As fuel prices go up, that means shipping costs go up, transportation costs go up. It means every cost goes up, which then means that labor rates have to go up. It's
a domino effect.
It's a very, 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 very difficult thing to curtail. And unfortunately, especially with fiat currencies, historically, this ends with a complete fuck up. It really does. It ends with what's called a financial reset and the issuance of new currency. And this already happened. Okay, it's happened in history. You can go look it up. You can look up the Weimar Republic and the hyperinflation. You can look up the hyperinflation from Zimbabwe. You can look up the hyperinflation from God knows how many South American countries. Once a currency is moved from a physical back into a fiat system, then there's only one way it can end, and that's with the gradual loss of the value of the currency over time. And there's only one way it can end. And so, this isn't looking terribly great. I don't know the right advice to give you. I do know that a lot of very wealthy individuals are moving liquid into assets. I know that. Real estate, people are still looking as a safe haven land. But like when you look at, from the news yesterday, 11,000 Facebook layoffs, 3,700 Twitter layoffs. We're starting to see layoffs come in from tech companies that have overstretched themselves. And as these layoffs come, that's going to push the real estate prices down. So as the dollar is inflating and real estate's coming down, it's very difficult to know where to put your assets to hedge. So maybe we can find an expert to talk to on that and interview an expert later in the week. That would be great, because I'd like to know what to do. I've only got a little bit of money, and most of it I spend on SoapBox. However, I'd like to know what to do from an expert going into these. They're not unprecedented. Everybody says unprecedented financial times, but they're not unprecedented. This has happened before. It's happened many times across many countries, and unfortunately, it looks like it's going to happen here. So I'd be very interested to see what happens. But I also know that crypto's on sale right now. I have a call out for a crypto expert to explain what's going on in those crypto markets. But there has been a significant crypto meltdown over the last couple of days with the loss of one of the big exchanges. So let me pull up.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see the crypto meltdown?
No.
Well, we can't go into it because it's not on our list of shit that's on our list. But let me pull up my Coinbase account here, and we can check the crypto prices. Because I looked yesterday, and Bitcoin was hurting.
Whoa!
And poor old Nina just looked at her crypto account. So Bitcoin's up quite a bit today, and Ethereum's up quite a bit today. Ethereum up 13%, but Ethereum's trading at $1,300, and 90 days ago it was trading at $3,000.
But Bitcoin was down at 15.
Bitcoin was at 15 yesterday. I mean, it's at 17 now, but 6 months ago, you said, man, I wish I could buy Bitcoin for 15. So maybe load your boots, maybe don't. I don't understand crypto. That's not the truth. I do understand crypto. I don't fuck with crypto. I've got this going on. I've got a lot of friends in crypto, and a lot of friends made a lot of money, and I've got a lot of friends now that are going, ouch, this really hurts. Yeah. So as with any investment, this is not an investment show. Do your own due diligence and tread carefully. I will try and find some crypto experts to come and talk about that meltdown. It's time for a commercial break. Ooh, look at that. And the funny thing about these commercials is they're ones that I made. Well, that to say me and my trusty team over at the Texas Media Foundry. So my name is Sam, and I'm the presenter of SoapBox News, and currently its only sponsor. The Small Business Surgeon is my consulting company, and the Texas Media Foundry is my media company, and this is the kind of stuff we make. I'm taking a minute now to showcase what we do so that we can generate some revenue from putting together SoapBox News. So thank you for looking at this, and take a look at our work, and if there's anything that you see there that you like recreated for your company, we'd love to work with you. So without further ado, let's get back to the news, and if you need video or help with your small business, you know who to call. And we're back. I don't know where we went. All right, next article. This one is one that I've been wanting to touch on. It's pretty neat. So Nina, please, what is the next article?
Jim Harris was paralyzed. Then he ate magic mushrooms.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
After becoming paralyzed from the chest down, the mountain athlete found an unlikely ally in recovery: psychedelics. So the article goes on to talk about how much psychedelics help this fella in recovery. It does talk about his accident and how he lost his stuff, but what I want to look at is the connection between what nature gives us and what we end up with from a pharmaceutical perspective. What do you know about mushrooms, Nina? I mean, come on, you were in LA for a long time. Like, you must have sacrificed some children and eaten some mushrooms.
That's another story, another time. No.
Okay.
No, of course. I mean, I'd be lying if we said we didn't all experiment with something growing up in our days.
But like, it was very telling in the 1970s. There was a period in America where psychedelic research was mainstream and allowed, and then after the hippie movement came about in the late 60s and early 70s, Nixon's government shut it down. And they said, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to experiment with this, because it was those guys that developed LSD originally, which was, LSD comes from refining a fungus that grows on corn. Everything. The more you look at this, the more you look at fucking, what's it called, natural sciences, psychopharmacology, I think is the term. But the more you look at this stuff, the more you realize that we are all connected to fungus in some way, which is kind of weird. So tell us about your experiences with mushrooms. What do you know about them?
I mean, I know that they're making a huge comeback right now. I know it's been a lot of people are microdosing. It's helping people with ADHD and other things. I actually have a good friend of mine back in LA who's been doing a lot of research on it, developing a TV show around it. So it's definitely made a big mainstream back the last couple of years.
You know, one thing I find...
But more for the beneficial of not just to go out and trip and, go play.
Well,
It's more of a health and wellness situation that's going on with it right now.
Well, what they've discovered is, like, mushrooms actually trigger neurogenesis, which is new growth and new pathways in the brain. So mushrooms allow the brain to develop in a different way.
Right.
And I don't know what the active ingredient is that allows that. I have tried mushrooms multiple times over the course of the last year after watching documentaries on Netflix and figuring out, and they don't taste very good. They're not the kind of mushrooms you'd want to put on omelettes.
Or in a soup.
I don't know. I kind of like
Mushroom soup.
Mushroom soup. I don't know, but like I've taken mushrooms where absolutely nothing's happened, and I've taken mushrooms where I've had revelations, spiritual revelations, where I've gone through and definitely changed my way of thinking. So even though I don't know much about the science behind it, I've still definitely benefited from the value that they bring in terms of like my understanding of like the human psyche.
Yeah.
Psychobilling, sorry. It's so hard to say that word. It's PSILOC, psilocybin. There you go. That was the word I was looking for. Thanks for that text. Psilocybin like stimulates neuroplasty. Like we know that. That's your brain's ability to generate. That's what I was talking about, neurogenesis and formation of new neurons. So if there was a foodstuff out there that made you trip for a couple of hours, taught you a few lessons and helped pathways in your brain to grow in different ways, I mean, I'd like to try that. We have studies that have shown, like long-term studies of dosing on this stuff that like re-engages dormant pathways within your brain. So I would like to see like serious scientific and government funding of this stuff. Like, I think it's more important to fund this kind of research than it is to fund the research where we're like developing viruses in labs, for example. I don't particularly think gain of function research is something that we should be fucking with. But gain of mushroom research, I'm down with that. I think that's good. Like, nothing good ever came from taking a virus and trying to make it more virusy.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is like we were just talking about back in the 70s and whatnot, and all the, because I've seen some of the documentaries probably that you've seen and read a lot of stuff on it, and the benefits that they were even reporting back then for people everything. And it's so it's like anything that becomes good and good for the people or good for you, like the government seems to come down and just want to squash it and just kill it. Like, no, that's too good. You can't have that.
Well,
it came from the earth, right? So why are we?
Well, there's no money in curing people.
Right. Of course not.
Yeah, I'm also of the opinion that anything grows in the ground should be unregulated.
Right.
But then again, opium grows in the ground, and you see what a mess that makes when it's unregulated. So there's got to be a line somewhere, right? Because opium grows in the ground. You go get it out of a poppy and make some opium. Like you can literally go make it.
I know.
Right.
I know.
So yeah, we've got to have some restrictions.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we can't all be just growing opium and selling it. But where's the harm with some dude growing a few mushrooms to chew on? Where's the harm with a guy growing a cannabis plant to smoke? There's no harm there. Yep. Why is that regulated? It's regulated because you cannot make profit off of those kind of people. Right? So we don't need a whole lot of the pharmaceuticals.
That's why they come in and find the ways to make their own.
So again, the whole point of SoapBox is to be able to talk about stuff that the mainstream media just won't talk about because their advertisers won't let them. And when you look up, when you see NBC News sponsored by Pfizer, it's a bit of a fucking giveaway there, guys. It's a bit of a giveaway. Do you think maybe the articles on NBC News might be pro-Pfizer? I don't know. Maybe they could. Maybe they couldn't. I don't know.
All I gotta do is go on there and see what ads keep popping up.
But when you go and look at the it's not even funny. Go look at the major news networks, and every major news network is held up by drug advertising. Every single one. Go look at them. So, if you've got any drugs you'd like to sell and you'd like to sponsor the SoapBox News Network,
come on.
Who do we know sells drugs? All right, so moving on to the last segment of the show. Talking of people that... This is great. This is great. So the last segment of the show, I am going to call it, stolen straight from the Small Business Surgeon podcast, and paraphrase from Andy Frisella's show, A Real AF. And if you don't listen to that, you should probably add that to your listening list too. So we call this Super Cool or Shut Up Fool. So we're going to read the article and then we're going to decide. So you have a big, big thumbs up for super cool. You have a big, big middle finger for shut up fool. What does this headline say?
Mattress Mack's record $75 million Astros payout will cost Caesars.
Caesars is going to lose some money. So this is coming from CNBC. Now, if you did not watch the World Series, which it was the second lowest viewed World Series in a long time in recent numbers, but it was the most viewed in Texas because the Astros were playing. Right. And we're just like Nina's a Houston girl. We're just, an hour north of the Astros here, so we're big Astros fans. But
Mattress Mack is is from the area that I grew up. We're from the same side of town.
Yes. And you don't mess with people from that side of town. Now here, I'm going to ask Tex to go out and find a clip of Mattress Mack from last week at the World Series. Have y'all
seen that one?
You'll have to watch this clip.
That's awesome.
This dude is like, OG, don't fuck with me. I'm from Houston, and
North Side, baby.
How old is he now? I think Mattress Mack actually sold mattresses to Noah as Noah was getting on the Ark. He was standing there slinging mattresses at him and outfitting the Ark's office. Mattress Mack is that old. Yeah. But look at the clip of Mattress Mack, and you got to love a guy like that. He bet $10 million on the Astros to win the World Series. And,
And then everybody who bought furniture got their furniture for free who won.
He did,
if the Astros won. So, that. Not only him, everybody.
So what he did with that $75 million was pay off. He runs a promotion, says, hey, buy your shit from us, and if the Astros win the World Series, it's all free. And then he goes and gambles to make sure he can. I just think he's amazing.
He's awesome.
That gets, and wasn't he highly critical of Joel Osteen during the Houston flooding a few years ago? And didn't he do a whole lot of...
because he opened up all his locations, all the stores, and let all the people come in and sleep on sleep and everything,
all that stuff.
Yep.
So I think this is super cool. I think Mattress Mack deserves 2 massive thumbs up.
Absolutely.
I think he deserves a clip from Cool Runnings saying exactly how cool this is. And I love it. I think this is a great note to end the show on today. Caesars and Penn both losing big, paying Mattress Mack $75 million. And what's better than a pensioner calling out somebody to fight? I mean, it's amazing. So we'll have Mattress Mack, and I would definitely go and support his store down there in Houston. All right. Well, I think that's the show today. How'd you like that?
It's fun. Had a great time.
You gonna come back tomorrow?
I don't know. Do you want me to come back?
So if anybody, yes, I'd like to come back. Now we are experimenting with different anchors. Nina is going to be one of the main anchors of the show. We do need another 2 or 3 anchors as well, so that Nina can take a day off, that I can take a day off, and that we can make and produce a 5 to 6 day a week constant content. So we're auditioning for anchors. You'll be anchoring mostly over Zoom and a little bit in person, right?
Yeah. I'll come out here. I mean, I'm not too far away.
Yeah, right on. So we are still auditioning for that. We do need to build a database of experts that we can pull from and interview for the show as well. So we've got that coming up. But the big goal of SoapBox is to get a little bit of traction here for the platform we're building, and to let other content creators and other journalists and other media companies know that this platform's coming, it's out there, and we want their content on it. So, yeah. Anything to add?
No, I think we're good.
All right, so we need to come up with a signature ending line.
This is SoapBox News, brought to you by the Small Business Surgeon Podcast. Check it out on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you find your podcasts. And by Texas Media Foundry. Video production for transportation, industrial, small and large businesses all across the country. Check them out at txfoundry.com.